Just to keep you guys informed, the Kremlin, they've dropped the charges against Prigozhin. They overuse this word, the Kremlin, like as if everything is controlled through there, you know, just to keep you guys in the loop. They have dropped the charges against Prigozhin. Okay, so here you can see this is from Sky News. They say the Kremlin in a statement said all criminal charges against Prigozhin will be dropped and none of the Wagner group fighters will be prosecuted. I figured that might be part of the deal, but I didn't want to go ahead and tell you something, you know, that I didn't know to be true. This might be the extent, like that's as far as Putin and the Kremlin are going to go, because, you know, again, this is not about, oh, Putin and he's like some kind of some king who decides everything. Russia, you know, it has a constitution, it has a military, it has its armed forces, which have fought bravely and crushed the Nazis in World War II. There comes a point where Wagner has to be merged with the Russian army. Prigozhin won in Bakhmut, and he did very well, but, you know, he can't just be running around. This is exactly why you have to integrate the forces and have order. That's the nature of the military, and especially you're at war. This is wartime. Russia is not, you know, this is not a utopia where NATO doesn't exist, and you know, Russia isn't surrounded by a handful of NATO countries. Russia is at war. Russia is being threatened, and I know Prigozhin yesterday did this video 30 minutes long, and he said, oh, Putin lied about the reasons for the war, Putin this and that. I don't really care about those because he's not citing the right reasons. He is saying things like, oh, Ukraine and NATO were going to plan some attack, and there was a giant, you know, threat that was looming over Russia and on February 24th, 2022. Dude, that threat has been looming for a long time, you know? Once again, I always say this, if we were in the Cold War, maybe we can have a different discussion about what NATO is and what it should be doing. But we are not. The Soviet Union doesn't exist. And NATO expanding and encircling Russia is a threat. And of course, he never mentions that because, you know, that is one of the main reasons, you know, this chaos, this cataclysm that has been unleashed. And it's really just a continuation of 2014 with Maidan coup, color revolution before that. I mean, I'm talking about 2009, and then of course, you know, this goes back 100 years. We've been screwing with the Russians, and we, you know, the UK invaded Russia. The US invaded Russia. There are many threats that Russia's faced, and he just acts like it's something with, oh, you know, it's a bunch of rich people, and Shoigu wants a medal. Who the hell's talking about Shoigu? It's only you, man. I know you don't like the guy, but maybe he's incompetent. Maybe all of the things you say are true. But I really doubt that Russia, you know, went into Ukraine because of Shoigu wanting a medal. What is this garbage? In any case, good thing it's over and they sorted this out. Hopefully, the whole goddamn war comes to an end because guess what? It's bad for the. I mean. It's not only bad for people in Ukraine and Russia, you know, if you have something like this on top of it. And I don't think it was as exaggerated, this situation, as much as they say in the Western media, because they want it to spiral out of control, but it's not good. It's even Chris Murphy, who's a U.S. senator, is saying that a civil war in Russia is cataclysmic. Okay, now I don't think Prigozhin is exactly, you know, civil war material, but you never know. This is from Dmitry Peskov, who's the Kremlin spokesperson, and this is the situation. Prigozhin, the head of Wagner, will move to Belarus. Shoigu is not going to be, removed from his post as defense minister, which is what Prigozhin had wanted. The Wagner soldiers or fighters who did not take part in this uprising, outburst, whatever you want to call it, they will be offered contracts by the defense ministry. I mean, excuse me, they weren't offered contracts now. These contracts were pending for quite, a couple of weeks now, for quite some time. My point here is I want to tell you that Prigozhin is going to move to Belarus. I think another way of saying this is he's being exiled. And he should probably be happy that it's not worse. That it's not something else. There are far worse things in the world. And what's wrong with Belarus, after all? I hear it's very beautiful, but never been there. The charges have been dropped, which I mentioned earlier. The FSB opened a criminal case against Prigozhin, but that's gone. And no Wagner fighters or troops will be prosecuted either. So this is the settlement, or this is what we know of the settlement that was mediated by Lukashenko, by Belarus president, to defuse the tension, the situation, the outburst between Putin and Prigozhin, or rather the Prigozhin's outburst. I say outburst as an understatement, and with British sarcasm, because it's so Prigozhin-like to do something, wild like this. And he really crossed the line this time. I mean, there's a difference. This is not posting videos where yelling at the defense minister, send me ammo. This is really something else. I'm always going to be posting updates on Twitter between the live streams, in between. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. This is your spot for international relations and nowhere else. Thank you guys very much.